Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. We have quite the cast of characters tonight. We have Buddy with us and Alex from Cyprus. And we have, let's see, who do we have with us? Eric. I can't see. Yep, we've got Eric. We've got my road dog, John Coley with us. And Matt from Georgia Lina.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bill Marsh from the crab capital of the world in Maryland. And of course, we have Jay Brennan from Temecula, California, and the one and only Brian S. Red. And so we have a question from a viewer. And here's what they would like to know. What is the most valuable? Oh, wait a minute. Before we get into the topic, I forgot to mention our longtime sponsor, DJEventPlanner.com. And our other sponsors will be down below with the blue hyperlinks to their websites when this gets published. Probably after Thanksgiving, I'd imagine. But here it is. What is the most valuable gold nugget that you picked up and used either early in your career or more recently? Who would like to tackle that first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Sure.
I think golden nugget is communication. Don't be nervous. Don't be fearful of anything. Communicate with the client, communicate with the guests wherever you are, be it a club, be it a bar, be it a wedding event. Be forward. Don't be a wallflower. Don't be shy.
Right.
You're there. If needs be, take control. But communicate with the planner. Communication is the key to success. So, in a nutshell, there you go. That's my golden nugget. Don't be afraid.
All right.
It's a good one.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Eric.
I think this is probably the most important thing I picked up over the many, many years is appearance. Appearance is huge. And I'm not just talking about the way your equipment looks. You yourself, no hands in the pocket, no sitting, and some people have to sit. I get that. Some DJs have to sit there, but I never sit at a gig. I just feel like I can't get them motivated if I'm sitting. Like, hey, get out, let's dance, and look at you over there sitting down. So I think that appearance is probably the number one golden nugget I picked up over the years, and to this day, I still try to utilize that as best as possible.
Oh, thank you very much.
I would just stay off your phone too. Isn't part of that too? If you're keeping up appearances at the gig, look like you're connected with what's going on and paying attention instead of playing hangman on your cell phone.
Well, that's the reason even though I can use an app on my phone, I use the iPad because that appearance is everything, like you said. If you look like you're using an app on your phone, it's almost looking like you're checking out the latest and greatest memes or something.
As important as they are, memes are fairly important.
And they are.
That gets us through some boring times. I'll take around here. So get more than one point of contact for your venue. You may have the bride's number. You may know where you're going to be. You may have went there weeks before. Call a couple of days ahead. Get a phone number. Find out who's going to be in charge, who's opening. A lot of times with smaller venues, if you're in halls or something, there's one person with the key who's going to show up, and he's going to let the bartender in, and they're going to let the DJ in. And otherwise, you're sitting in the parking lot, and no one's here yet. Find out more than one way, because the last thing you want to do is call a bride on her wedding day and say, no one's at your hall. Don't want to cause you any panic, any more stress than you're already going through. Right. Find more than one way to get in touch. If you're going to some place that's already open, it's not such a big deal. But if you got an early 1:00 thing in the afternoon, find some phone numbers a couple of days ahead of time and find out, a few different points of contact. It'll make your life a whole lot easier.
Thank you,
Yeah,
John.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
So one I saw a lot of our friend DJ Rachel post on recently is remembering that you're DJing for your audience. You're not DJing for other DJs. You're not making the decisions you're making for other DJs. It's really to focus your time, your attention on your audience or on your client. And that should be where your energy goes. Whether that be your marketing, whether that be your presentation or anything really, it's them. At the end of the day, they're not going to care what brand controller you have unless it breaks down or just looks completely awful. They're not going to care what brand speakers you have or any of that other stuff that we all get in debates to where, just blue in the teeth about it or whatever. So, yes, keep the main thing your main thing. Focus on your audience and on your clients.
All right. Well, thank you very much. How about Bill? Go ahead, Bill.
Kind of to that same point, a packed dance floor or an empty dance floor are both excellent parties if your clients and the guests think so. The number of people or bodies dancing is not the only barometer of or rating for how good your party was. I've talked about it before, but I've actually had couples say, we're not dancers. Our guests aren't going to be dancers. We just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And, lo and behold, there's 3 people dancing. I felt like I was a winner.
Yeah. And oftentimes you'll see the non-dancers will either be singing or bobbing their head. You've had it good. I've told this story before. I did a corporate event with politicians, and I struggled to get people on the dance floor. Unless I played slow songs, they would get up and dance. The end of the night, the mayor of the town comes up to me and shakes my hand and says, "Great job." And I said, "You mind if I ask you a question?" He said, "Sure." I said, "How come you folks didn't dance to, these pop hits and so forth?" And he said, "Everybody has a camera now. And I'm a public figure. I don't want to get caught in an awkward position. I won't even dance with my teenage daughter because they could use that against me. But if I'm holding my wife hand, and they have a picture of that, it's golden." So
Makes sense.
yeah.
Absolutely.
All righty. How about you, Jay?
I think the biggest thing that's helped me in my career is probably always having backup and then backup to the backup. I mean, I've shown up at gigs and not had a hard drive, forgot to put it in one bag, but had the backup hard drive that was the exact copy. So it was okay. And I've shown up, been missing a power cable to the main rig, but had the backup. So it doesn't make you less likely to keep your eyes open, but you just make sure. And the other thing is it's antiquated and it's old fashioned and I don't care, but I print what I need to have in front of me for the day of. So I print my introductions, I print my schedule, I print even though in my music, I have a crate that says the date and then ceremony, cocktail, dinner, dancing. I can get rid of them after the event, but I need to make sure that what they've wanted and what they requested is in the right category, but I still have it out on a printed list. And the only other thing that comes to mind that's never failed me is every event I do, I replace the batteries. So the batteries on the mics for 20 minutes this past Sunday or Saturday were new batteries for the mics from Friday. And I just use those to give to the venues because a lot of them have the battery candles now that run on AA's. It's a pretty small price to pay to guarantee because I show every time I do mics on a body pack, I show it to the person wearing it. I turn it on and I always go full power, brand new batteries, so that if the mic cut out in the middle of it, they're going to look at me and be like, wasn't Jay's fault, it had to be technology. It's the same reason I tell every wedding party, every officiant, and every groom, I need you to put your phones, turn them off or put them on airplane, because your phone could be searching for Wi-Fi or a signal and interfere with the microphone. What I've now done is given not only a way out if there's an issue, but I've shown that I care enough to make sure there's no issues, but I can't guarantee a wireless microphone.
Right.
So if it were to cut out or die, 99.9%, the client is going to look at me and be like, not Jay's fault. He gave me brand new batteries. He showed me it was on. He put it in my pocket. He clipped it on. He warned the groomsmen to turn off their phones. Maybe a bunch of people in the audience had phones. I don't know. But I think you've got to be prepared, and that's backup and having everything you possibly need right in front of you. Don't look at your phone and go, oh, I've got this text message with no, have it on a piece of paper. Because now you're looking down at your gear, you're looking at paperwork. You're not on this, someone said earlier, you're not on your phone. And people have a bad habit. I think I told you guys, I do corporate gigs a lot. And at corporate gigs now, 100% of them, the contact's like, what's your phone number? I give it to them. And throughout the event, they'll text me from a table or the same room that we're in. And my phone's going off and I have to look at my phone during the gig. I mean, 5 or 10 years ago, that would be a sin. Now it's like a way to communicate. So, you know, as times move forward, things change a little bit, but, you know, you've got a job to do. Be focused, be prepared, give yourself every possible way, if anything goes south, that you're ready to get over it.
Wow, that was a lot right there.
That was like a gold mine.
Yeah, that was a gold. But
Please got a push card.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Push card.
All
gold
right.
nuggets.
And here we have the king of clever with us. Brian, what do you got?
Well, I don't know. I was watching something earlier with Jay Leno, and I love watching stuff with comedians because we got parallels. There's always parallels between us and comedians. And he was being interviewed by 2 British comedians. It was recent. It's like came one like 5 days ago. And they were asking him, you know, questions about the old days or whatever. And he said that he thinks that the notion that the business is cutthroat is ridiculous because he's always made friends in the business and they've done nice things for him and he's done nice things for them. One thing he was talking about, which I thought was pretty interesting, is Steve Martin was the guy who brought Johnny Carson down to the Comedy Store to see him perform. It was Steve Martin made the Johnny Carson Jay Leno connection. And as you know, he went on to host the show. I feel that way. I feel like that we need to have friends, take care of our friends. They're going to take care of us in return. This doesn't have to be cutthroat. It doesn't have to be mean-spirited. And we can help each other in all kinds of ways, artistically and just financially with gigs. And like Jay said, there's only so many gigs a person can do. You know, other people have to take these gigs too. So comedians would share gigs. DJs share gigs. We're always doing that. Bringing in people to do things that we can't do or maybe aren't interested in doing or have to pass on for whatever one reason or another. So yeah, make friends. That's what I learned very early on in this business. And I still do my best to do that.
Yeah. Very cool. Back to Jay's point, my golden nugget that I learned, I guess it was a year or 2 ago from Jay, was the wedding party, especially, you know, the officiant and the bride and groom. If you have a body pack on them, ask them, please put your phone on airplane mode or turn it off. And I got into it. I have never had a dropout. But when you said that, I was like, you know what? If I was ever going to have a dropout, that would be the culprit. And ever since then, I said, please, when we're done, hey, turn on your phones, do what you want, you know?
Well, you're also utilizing the fact that if someone's phone were to go off during the ceremony, and I've had that happen.
Oh, yeah.
They think everyone starts to laugh because it's so funny. But I've seen the brides in those like 3 instances after the ceremony, and they were all crying.
Yeah.
And they were crying because their beautiful wedding ceremony was, in their opinion, ruined by some a-hole's phone going off. And it's like, you know, and I've never used that as the excuse, but you're certainly helping the success.
Yes.
And you know what? I don't know. You guys have all had varying degrees of issues at weddings, as have I. But one of the things that's always shown through helping the wedding party's success at the ceremony is try to make friends with the wedding party. Like, let them know you're on the bride and groom side. If there's a problem with a guest later, I can't leave the gear and go handle the guest, but I can grab a wedding party member who knows I'm friends with the bride and groom. I'm there for their success. I'm helping their friend, and say, hey man, do you know that dude? He's really wasted. He's being a problem. Oh dude, I'll take care of it, man. Thanks for letting me know.
Right.
You know, you can have 12 people on your side the second you get there, plus family. That's a big help to a DJ if stuff goes south.
Right.
You know, and they care. They obviously wouldn't be there if they didn't care.
Exactly.
On a similar level, regarding mobile phones and things like that, a lot of my brides are having an unplugged ceremony.
Yes.
Sometimes unplugged reception as well, because they want people to spend time with each other, not on their phones, not spending, you know, every other 10 minutes editing the video, uploading it to Instagram and all that kind of thing, you know. So if they're not using their phones, why not have it on the, you know, airplane mode and things like that? They don't need to have it on. You know,
Alex, do you make that announcement? A lot of times I'll tell them, I'll make that announcement before the ceremony that it's unplugged. Please leave your phones in your pockets or purses. Be present. Be here for the bride and groom. We have a professional photograph team that'll take tons of photos. You don't have to be in the aisle trying to capture the bride and groom kissing. We have someone whose job is going to do that. We just want you to enjoy the time. And brides and grooms sometimes don't think of it, and they really appreciate it when the DJ steps up like that.
I just tell them to put it.
They normally have that as a little sign from their decor team, you know, on an easel or an A-board and that kind of thing. But when I do a pre-meet for the reception, I ask them, you know, how do you feel about photos? You know, are you the kind of couple that want everything plastered on everybody's Facebook page? But obviously with my destination weddings, sometimes they have a reception back in the UK. So they don't want anything on social media because they don't want anybody to see the dress apart from those that came abroad. And when they have their UK party, then after that, they'll post their pictures and then everybody else can, because after the UK party, everybody back in the UK sees the dress for the first time. It's like a second wedding kind of thing.
Well, that's a really good point. I've run into that where they don't want you to they want it unplugged because, you know, what are you, some kind of reporter from a tabloid that you have to be the first one to post wedding pictures? That should be the bride and groom decision, you know, whether, look, guys, hold off, please, posting until we post. And, but typically I usually have the officiant make that announcement, and that's work for me.
And to Howie's point, I had a wedding get ruined in the groom's opinion because girls came in to see the bride, took a selfie with her, posted it to Instagram, and tagged the groom. And then the groom got a hit on his phone, opened his phone, and there's the bride before the first look. And he was so pissed.
I mean, the other thing is, I say to the bride, you know, do you want your first photo on social media be you at 11:30 at night, you know, when you've been sent out to the wedding, you know, or would you like the first photo of you getting prepped in the morning to be on social media? You know, the 11 o'clock at night, you know, your last drink photo, or your I haven't had a drink and I'm not going to have one for another 2 hours photo, you know, and I've just had my makeup done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're there to protect the client. And I don't think a lot of DJs nowadays realize that. But we have so much power with a microphone, with music, and the fact that we can run wherever we want at a wedding, and giving them our information and professional knowledge and years of experience to really save things. Please, if your friends come in to see you in the bridal room, please don't let them take photos with you. Really? Yeah, because it could leak out to your husband before he sees you. Tell them to at least respect you and wait till after the ceremony to post anything they've taken. And 99% of the time, if you say that to a group of women or men, they're going to look at you like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing that. They're not going to get angry that you're telling them to get off social media because they need to get up to 100 followers this year. They're going to look at it like, I never even thought of that.
They don't realize the implications that they're creating unintentionally.
No, not at
so
all,
you just kind of make them aware. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. 100 followers. They're going to pretty soon be speakers at, these
Yeah, they could speak at Wedding MBA or something. Absolutely. that kind of package. I had two girls Snapchat the whole night the other night to the point where I leaned over from my table and said, you know what? It'd be cool if you guys did those videos out on the dance floor instead of at the chair. Oh, we're just Snapchatting. I said, no, I can see that because you're 5 feet in front of me. But what if you did them on the dance floor? Other people might join you. Then you'd have even better photos. And they just looked at me like, oh, we're good just dancing with the two of us right here. And I'm like, oh, because you're losers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got you now. Okay. I mean, everyone does their thing nowadays. I get it. But you got to realize where you are. You know, how many of us end with a slow song? Why? Because you're at a wedding. Wrap it up as in a circle, in a package, whatever you want to call it. Let them know that they just experienced love and two people joining together. Because once the guests leave, now the couple's on their own. So why not send them off with love? You know, same thing. Yeah. We've got to be that decision maker for them. Ending with Me So Horny by Two Live Crew may not be the best, you know.
Wait,
you do a love song, you do Aerosmith Home Tonight. There are classics, you know, Freebird, whatever. But, you know, they need our guidance or else they wouldn't hire us. They'd just get Spotify and sit there on their own.
Yeah.
You know?
Anybody else have anything they would like to share on this? Go ahead, buddy.
I guess I'm the last one then for tonight. But one of the things I learned a long time ago, and this goes back to shocking news and stuff like that, is always learn. Keep learning. Don't stop learning. Don't say you have all the answers. Listen to what other people do. Take what they do and see if you can equalize it or maybe do better. But don't say, hey, I'm not going to do this or try that. Try other things, but don't stop learning. Learning is very important. Growing is very important. And bettering what you do for your clients is what we all should be doing as DJs, trying to be the best DJ we possibly can, do the best job we possibly can, and take care of our clients. But the big thing is that don't stop learning.
Well,
and that's true because Buddy knows everything. So if Buddy says that, I'm just telling you.
There's always another nugget. There's always another nugget.
He has internet access.
Well, the FBI don't even question people anymore. They just call Buddy up.
Yeah, he's got the query checks on everybody. Yeah.
Not only don't stop learning, but don't stop getting music, you know, or at least looking for it, because you just never know what you're going to end up finding. Yeah, and I'm now on the hunt for a pretty rare thing that I didn't even know existed until listening on the radio the other day. Bon Jovi's New Jersey album was the first ever import out of Russia.
Oh, well, Buddy knew that. Buddy knew that.
Or the first U.S. rock album to be sold in Russia, I'm sorry. And now I'm looking to find the import from the Russian label.
Brian's got 3 of them.
Probably.
He probably got at least 2.
There was a Moscow festival, right? Skid Row was there. Bon Jovi was there. Maybe that's why they let Bon Jovi across the borderline. Motley was there. Yep.
Scorpions. Dokken.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I've been following this past week is Brian's, very small setup, but very capable of doing whatever he wants. I mean, that's, I'm, getting close to that where I'll have to lighten my load as well if I want to keep going. And it's amazing what you came up with that setup. I really enjoyed that.
Well, if you want to work bad enough, you'll figure out how to do it.
So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
you wait around for somebody else to do it for you, and I've done that. And it's like, well, no, nobody's stepping up. So you just figure out, you try things, I'm working on a video right now that, it's not a complete idea, but it's an idea. And that's where I think we can help each other. We can't all know everything, but you got to start somewhere. You got to do mock-ups. You got to, theorize things. And yeah, I mean, that it never ends. It never ends.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And, one of the big things this past year that I've learned is, people with the lithium ion batteries catching fire, and the fact that they're buying 30 uplights with lithium ion batteries, and they're only good for 2 to 3 years. But if you get the Life Pro 4, that'll last 1,000 charge cycles, and it'll last up to 10 years on the shelf.
Are those in uplights, Howie?
No, they're not. That's what I don't understand, why manufacturers won't do that.
Because they make money on selling you the next battery.
Right. 2 years, you're buying another set of lights.
But they're susceptible to, catching on fire. I mean, where I'm at is I get New York stations, and they're in emergency legislation right now to ban bringing your electric bike into your apartment to charge it, because they've had over 50 people this year alone killed from fires that were started with lithium ion batteries.
Wow.
So why, I don't know, but for me, $100 more for a battery pack, with the, Life Pro 4, yeah, my life's worth $100. That's the way I would go, I mean, all the little charging stations I have, I have no problem, carrying them in the car, or, charging them, right here in the living room. So, all right. Does anybody have anything else, or we want to close this up then?
Can you just say road dog one more time? My throat's a little scratchy. Road dog?
One more. Yeah, he wants one more road dog.
Oh, he's looking for a beverage. Beverage break. Yeah. Close it up with a toast to our viewers, and thanks to all of you for another great cycle till Thanksgiving again. So
here we go.
I was just going to say something about what Howie was saying. We talk about phones and stuff, and how he mentioned about using the tablet. That's what I use now. Everything now, obviously, is lots of digital stuff, so I can screenshot everything if I need to. I put everything in a file. When I do things, I now have one of these. This is the Apple Pencil, which I can't show you on the tablet on the iPad, because I'm using it for the Zoom chat. So obviously, when I do meetings, I now write everything. I have a PDF program. It recognizes my handwriting, so as I'm writing it, it then puts it in print as opposed to handwriting. So when I go to gigs, when I'm doing announcements and stuff like that, I can just go on the iPad and I can go this, and this, and they say, oh, that's not what I said. I go, hang on a sec, and I can bring up the email of the discussions and things like that. So rather than using the phone, it looks, in today's age,
it looks more professional.
Either that or it looks like Star Trek from 1967.
I have a $4 app from the App Store in Apple that's a teleprompter. And it is so awesome. You can have your timeline and what you're going to say and the names of the people. But what sold me on it was that if for some reason I slow down or I get distracted or, the bride's not ready to come in yet type of thing, all I have to do is stop talking and the scrolling on the iPad will stop at that spot. And then it'll pick right back up as soon as I start speaking again. And it does look professional when you're holding an iPad out there for that. But I do always, always, always have a paper copy So, yeah, all kinds of cool tricks. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And as always, folks, if you have a topic you would like us to cover, leave it in the comments section down below when this goes to YouTube. And with that, we will bid you